Hey guys, in this video I will be introducing you to one of the most important Linux commands, which is chmod. So it stands for change mode and it's used to modify files and directory permissions. This is critical for managing access and security in a Linux environment. So firstly, let's quickly look at how Linux permissions work. Every file or directory in Linux has got three types or sets of permissions. So the first one you're going to see is user, then we've got group, then we've got others. So meaning if it's not that user or it's not that group, then any other person. So these can be represented by the letters U, G and O. So take note of that. So permissions come in three forms. So you've got read, write and execute. So meaning is a user allowed to read the file or execute the file or modify the file in terms of writing to that file. So in Linux we can check the permissions of a file using the ls-l command, and I'm going to be demonstrating that to you. So right now we are on the desktop and this is a file we are going to be working with. So here on my terminal, if I type in ls space -l and press enter, you'll notice that we are going to have a list of all the files that we have in that directory, for example. Then here, what we want to focus on is when it comes to permissions, this is divided into three, like we saw. So here, the first section is for the owner or the person that created the file, the group, then others. So here, the owner of the file, we have read and write privileges. Same thing on the group also has read and write privileges, but for other people it's only set to read, so they cannot write or execute the file, as you can see here. So now let's look at how to fully utilize the chmod command. So here we have two ways in which we can implement or use the ch command. Is either by using the symbolic method or mode or the numeric method. So here in symbolic mode, you specify the user category and the permissions change. So for example, if we wanted to change permissions for a specific user, or if we wanted to add execution permissions to that file for a specific user, we would use the command chmod. U, remember U is user, plus X, meaning we are adding an execution bit to this file. Same thing if we were to remove specific permissions to a user or to the others group, I would specify chmod -w, which is a -w, to remove the write privileges on that specific file. Same thing if I wanted to add read and write privileges to a specific group, I would use the chmod command -g, which is for the group, equal to read and write permissions, then followed by the file that I want to do that to. So that's how you would add, remove or modify securities using the symbolic method. So when it comes to the numeric method, here we use specific numbers which represent specific values, for example. So in our case, 4 represents read, 2 represents write, and 1 represents execute. But you would see most of the time on a file, you might see 0, because this range will range from 0 to 7. So here we have a quick example of how we would specify reads and writes to a specific file. So for example, here I would specify chmod, then 740, meaning here we have both read, write and execute to make up 7. So that's where that 7 is coming from. Then 4 is only read. Then for our other group, we have 0, meaning they are not allowed, they have no access. So here you also just need to pay attention to the numbers. As you can see, we've got 3 digits here which represent the user, the original owner of the file, and we have the group, then other. So they all work the same, and we just need to make sure that you know that 7 is read, write, and execute. If you add the three numbers there together, same thing with 4, which is the read, and 0, which is no access. If there was 1 here, meaning this file is executable. So here is a quick explanation of how that would be represented if we were to use the symbolic way, which is RWX. So this would allow you to modify a whole, let's say, directory permissions. So for example, if I had a directory called office files, I would run such a command to modify the permissions of that directory. So for example, if I would say chmod -r prefix, and notice that the R is capital letter, so you need to make sure, because Linux is case sensitive. Then here followed by the actual permissions. So as you can see, now we have slightly different numbers. So again, if you remember, 7 means read, write, and execute. Then now here we've got 5. The only values that can add up to 5 is either read and execute, not write. So here we do not have write privileges, but we can read and execute this directory. So that's how you would modify it using the recursive method of changing permissions.